Okay, we are going to use the same equation now, except what they are not giving us in this is they're not going to be giving us the slope. They're going to be giving us 2 points. So when we look at our example here, right, and I'm going to write this down just so we have a reference point. This is the equation we're using, and we're going to write it in both forms. We're going to write it in point-slope form and in slope-intercept form. It passes through these 2 points. So I could use either one of these points for my x1, y1 point, but I need a slope. But the thing is, they gave us 2 points, and if they give us 2 points, we can use our general slope equation to find that. And remember, that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is your slope. All right, so let's use that. All right, so we've got m is equal to, well, y2 is negative 1. I'm going to just call this x2, y2. We'll call this one x1, y1. All right, so we have negative 1 minus a negative 2, and then 4 minus 2. So this gives me negative 1 plus 2 over 2. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So my slope is 1/2. And then at this point, it's just a matter of just plugging it into that equation. So y minus, let's use that point right there for my point. So y minus negative 2 is equal to, here's my slope, 1/2 x minus 2. All right, let's simplify this left side here, get rid of that double negative. Y plus 2 equals 1/2 x times the quantity x minus 2. All right, so this would be my simplified point slope form. All right, and that's good. That's what we wanted. Now, let's rewrite this really quick into slope-intercept form, all right? So remember, we always start that by multiplying out your slope across the parentheses, all right? So 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, and 1/2 times negative 2, well, 1/2 times 2 is 1. It's 1/2 times 2 is saying what's 1/2 of 2. Well, 1/2 of 2 is 1. And then it's negative because of that negative sign. So we have minus 1. All right, and then we have this number here, and we want to get y by itself. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And you're going to wind up with y equals 1/2 x minus 3, because negative 1 and negative 2 makes negative 3. And then this is my slope intercept form. My y equals mx plus b. All right, look at one more example. Let's find our slope first. All right, it doesn't matter what's going on here. Let's just find our slope. So my slope is going to be, well, we got x1, y1, x2, y2. So that's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, my y2 is negative 1. And then my y1 minus y1 is 1. Right, my x2 is negative 2. And then minus, this is my x1, negative 3. So we got a double negative going on that bottom there. Negative 1 and negative 1 gives me negative 2. And then this actually becomes negative 2 plus 3. And negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Anything over 1 is that thing. Negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. And that's my slope. Now let's use either of these points. Let's use this first point just to keep it easy. All right, so we're going to go y minus, we're going to use that y coordinate, 1, equals, here's my slope, negative 2, the parentheses x minus, and then my x coordinate is negative 3. And then hopefully you see by now that we've got to deal with that double negative. So this double negative is going to turn that into a positive. And this is my point slope form, so that's good. It's about as simple as it can be. Now let's deal with this and put this into slope-intercept form. So we get negative 2x minus 6. And then I want to move this negative 1 over to the other side. So I'm going to do that by adding 1 to both sides so that y can be by itself. So y equals negative 2x minus 5. And then you have your slope-intercept form, and you are now an expert at this. All right, in the next video, I'm going to show you one other way to kind of do these, and it's not taught in the book, but I think it's a good way to know how, and you will be taught it in algebra next year. So if you're looking at this and going, huh? And none of this is making any sense at you, definitely watch that video. If you're really comfortable with these methods and you think, hey, I think I can make these work, then hey, it's totally cool. You don't have to watch it, but I would still recommend it because it's always nice to see that there's multiple ways to solve a problem.